Guys, welcome back to my apartment. Hope you guys, I just pushed my desk so hard. Good start to a video. But welcome back to my apartment. You guys are gonna be seeing my apartment for a little bit on this channel because we're in self-isolation mode, so, we gotta be careful. But so in this video, we're gonna take a look at 2D physics. And basically, Unity 2020.1 is now in beta, and this actually includes improvements to rigid body 2D XY position constraint, which makes a rigid body completely solid under any force and has almost zero runtime cost. There are more details about what Unity 2020.1 actually brings to the table, but that link is going to be in the description, basically the blog post, so you guys can find more if you guys are interested. So we're gonna get into the video in just a moment, but first, this video is brought to you by Fiverr. This month, March 2020, FaZe Blaze will launch the Ultimate Game Idea Contest powered by Fiverr. This event is aimed to ignite a social movement to unlock the creativity and ideas that people have. So this journey will result in a brand new game or even a mod for a current game, and will use technologies that people see fit. It can be like a mobile game, retro, VR, AR, or even AI, or anything you think might result in a great project, including just a level for a game. There are some really insane prizes too, such as $25,000 in Fiverr credit to the winner, the winning game being promoted in Times Square and at Madison Square Garden, 5 finalists to receive $1,000 in Fiverr credits to brand their video game, and Blaze will present the 5 finalists on social media and on their official website. It is also worth mentioning that you keep all the rights to your game throughout the entirety of the contest, even if selected as winner. Submitting is also super easy and smooth, so my suggestion is go ahead and join this one, submit something, and see where it gets you. You don't even have to try hard to win. Just participating in these types of game creation events such as game jams is a fantastic way to learn to finish projects and develop your skills. And this contest even has prizes, so who knows, maybe you become famous in the Madison Square Garden. But I'm telling you, right now, if you forget about me, I swear to God, I will find your game and give it bad feedback. So I was thinking of a creative way to transition this clip, the intro, to the video itself. So I thought of like letting the duck drop. That was not very cool. I thought that it was gonna be cooler, but what do you expect me to do? Fall on the ground? Yes, let's get into the video. Alright, so here we are in Unity 2020.1 0B3, so 0 Beta 3 as of right now, the latest version of the beta. And you can see that I have a little simple scene here using a project from the Unity asset store, actually an asset pack called Sunnyland. So this is going to be linked in the description down below. It's a free to download package, so you can feel free to use it if you want to. And then you can see that I have a few more folders here, which is from the example 2D physics project from GitHub. So that's also going to be linked in the description, which was also linked in the blog post that Unity posted. So if I just go ahead and play the game right now, you can see that we have this chain that is affected by gravity. So rigid body, and then if I just pull this with my mouse, by the way, the script for pulling is, or dragging the chain is also from that project. You can see that it just moves naturally, just like a weight would on a chain, set of chains like this hanging down. So I'm gonna show you guys how we can make a chain like this. So let me go and disable the one we have in the scene right now. So now let's go to our hierarchy, right click, and then basically go into 2D object and just create a simple sprite. We'll rename this to chain. And for the sprite, let's just pick a placeholder, basically to just see where this object is located. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna pick a cherry, just for the sake of it. And this is basically going to be our main object that's gonna hold all of the chains and the links, right? So it's basically this parent game object, but our own version of it with a cherry for sprite. I mean, why not? Cherries are really cool as placeholders. Trust me, I know what I'm talking about. All right, so for this cherry, we're gonna add component, and this is going to be a rigid body 2D component. And this rigid body 2D component is essentially just the gravity that's gonna affect our object. Now you can see that the body type of this rigid body is set to dynamic. Now we wanna change this to static, because dynamic rigid body is designed to move under simulation, which we have toggled in here. whereas a static rigid body is designed to not move under simulation at all. If anything collides with it, a static rigid body behaves like an immovable object, which is good because we're going to have links chained to this object. So we would obviously not want the pivot to the chains to move. And then we're going to add one more component, and this time it's going to be a distance joint 2D. So next up, we're going to add the weight game object. So let's go ahead and search for weight. And just to, remind you guys, you can use any assets you want to. I'm only using the weight because, I just have it in my project right now, so it's more convenient. But if you guys have something else, obviously the method works with any other asset as well. So let's drag this weight in here, and this is obviously a little too big, so I'm just gonna resize this. And now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to pick a layer for this weight, and I'm gonna put it as draggable. And you don't have to do this. The only reason I'm doing this is because it's working with the script dragger, drag target script with the dragger game object, which is again from the GitHub project of the Unity's examples for 2D physics. So if you guys want to use this, feel free to, but you don't have to. And then let's also make the weight game object a child of the chain game object. Now keep in mind, the weight game object, the asset, comes with the rigid body 2D component attached to it already. Now, if you're using another asset, make sure that you have the rigid body 2D component attached. If you don't, you can just browse down in the inspector window, add component, and search for rigid body 2D. But yeah, just make sure you add it, or else it's not going to be affected by gravity, which kind of breaks the point of having a chain like this. And then I'm going to highlight my chain game object, the parent, and where it says under the distance joint 2D component, which we added recently, for connected rigid body, we're going to drag in the weight game object. And now if we play the game, you can see that the weight is going to hang around from the cherry, right? So we can move it around, again, thanks to the script. But you can see that it's weirdly rotating all the time like this, which is mainly because there's nothing that's attaching to it, so it just doesn't know where it should rotate towards. So we're gonna fix that by adding the physical chain sprites as well. So let's go ahead and do that. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna search for chain and just simply drag in these sprites right here. Now you can see that this chain object is actually invisible, and the reason is because it's not layered correctly. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna highlight it from the hierarchy, and in the inspector window, just browse down, and under the sprite renderer component, order in layer, we're gonna put it to minimum 1. And depending on the order of layer for your other sprites you have in your scene, you may have to have this value actually a little bit higher, basically higher than everything else you want this to be visible over. This is also too big, so let's scale it down. So let's make it start from the cherry. And I'm actually also going to put a order in layer of 2 for the cherry, not 0, 2, there we go, because I want the cherry to appear over the chain. Unity, wow, thank you so much for implementing the zoom feature, scale feature for the game window. Now I can actually zoom in and be like, look guys, I'm a professional content creator. All right, so let's duplicate the chain, the links, right? So I'm just gonna hold down Control and press D while I have the links selected, and there we go. Let's do it one more time just so we have 3 sets of links. And then let's move the weight as well. And then let's highlight all of the 3 chain game objects, or the sprites that we just added, and drag them under the chain game object, the main game object. For the sake of organization, let's also drag weight to the bottom. I'm also going to rename these 3 chain sprites to link 1, link 2, and then finally link 3. I'm only doing this because I just want it to be easier for you guys to hear when I say like, oh, let's highlight chain, that it's the parent prefab we're highlighting, not one of these. See, I am very professional. Thank you so much for acknowledging. So for each of these links, we're gonna need to have a set of components attached to them. So right now we only have the sprite renderer. So let's unfold these along with the transform component, and then let's start adding our own components. So first and foremost, we're gonna add a rigid body 2D, unfold this, and then we're gonna add a capsule, capsule collider 2D, unfold this as well. And then finally, we will add a hinge joint, of course 2D. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and add these 3 components to the other 2 links as well. Cool, so all of these 3 links now have the same components. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to highlight link number 1, and under the component hinge joint 2D for this link, I'm going to drag in link number 2 for connected rigid body. So basically we are connecting link 1 with link 2. And then I'm going to move over to link number 2 and do the same thing. So I'm going to drag in link number 3 into this field right here. So basically you're assigning the next one in line. And then for link number 3, we're actually just going to assign the wait game object. Now the thing is that we have linked now all of these to each other, but the problem is link number 1 is not actually, well, connected to anything else, so linked to anything else. Whereas we would want it to be linked to chain because that's the parent game object and that is the pivot point for where these links are hanging from. So we want these links to be attached to the pivot point. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna select link number 1 and then add one more component, which is again the hinge joint 2D. Now for this one, we're actually just gonna drag in the parent chain game object in here. And now that all the connections are done, if we play it again, oh no, the fox, we killed it. Why did it die? Oh, the box colliders are literally across each other. All right, Foxy, don't worry about it. We're gonna move the chains a little bit up. There we go, you like that? All right, good, so now we won't kill the fox. PETA, nothing to be seen here. But yes, if we play the game, you can see that if I drag the weight a little bit, you will see that we have a bit of a weird unlinking here going on. So this is actually very easy to fix. And the reason is because these anchor points are set to be at different spots. So essentially, if I just highlight link number 1, you can see these 2 blue spots appear. And if I highlight link number 2, there's only one of them. The reason being is because, well, the reason we have 2 for link number 1 is because we have 2 hinge joints. And these blue spots each represent where the anchor point is. And the description for the anchor is from Unity is the local space anchor from the base rigid body. So meaning we usually set these anchor points to be at the bottom of a connected game object. So for instance, for this chain hinge joint, the hinge, or well, the chain game object is obviously the cherry at the top, right? So we need this anchor point to be exactly at the bottom of the cherry so that this actually connects to it. And this spot actually looks pretty good to me, so I'm gonna leave it be. However, in link number 1, we have one more hinge joint, and this is connecting to link number 2. But this is actually not at the bottom of this link, like the link number 1, because link number 1 actually ends right here. If I can get it to be, okay, you know what? We're gonna do the old school way. 0.35? Yes, that's the end of it. Because look, if we disable this, I just disable link number 2. And then if I go back to link number 1, you can see this is actually literally at the bottom of it. And then we're gonna do the same thing for link number 2. So we're gonna find it. Basically, you can see that the anchor point is literally at the center. So we're gonna put let's try to put the same value. So minus 0.35. Here we go. And then link number 3, we're gonna do the same thing. So minus 0.35. All right, cool. So there we go. So if we play the game now, you can see that the rotation issue is fixed and they are no longer unlinking from each other or disconnecting, as I usually say. Unlinking is not even the word. So there's no more disconnect, which is super good. And if we want to be really horrible people, you know, we could always do something like this. Where did it go? Now the fox, we need to find him. Look at the speed. It's literally flying across Unity. That is awful. I'm so sorry. Look, you're okay now. You're back. Everything is good. Don't worry about it. All right, so that pretty much concludes this video. That's pretty much it. So let me know in the comment section if you guys have any questions. And also, don't forget that you can also join our Discord server, by the way. I don't know why I kind of lowered my voice, but you know, low key, we have a Discord server, very low key, 20,000 members. Weird flex, but okay. But yeah, guys, 20,000 members, all game developers, all designers, coders, you know, anime watchers, very intensive anime watchers. So join us, have some fun, talk about anime, talk about Unity, talk about the world. And you can join us by going to the link in the description down below. I think the Unity 2020.1 beta has been super cool to play around with so far, but let me know in the comment section what you guys think about it and how you're using it right now. Obviously this is still in beta, so people are still working on these features, but I think the updates to the 2D physics are major. So yeah, I'm not gonna hold you for any longer. I just want to say a few last words. That's gonna sound depressing, but yeah, take care, stay safe, stay at home, most importantly. You know, drink your milk, as my boy Danny would say, our Lord and Savior. And yeah, I will see you guys in the comment section and in our Discord server. So have a good one. Peace out.